When I was in the depths of my postpartum depression and anxiety, completely immobilized and debilitated by my symptoms, I was sure that I had reached the deepest and darkest point of this illness. The constant pit in my stomach that made it impossible to eat, the out-of-the-blue panic attacks, the onslaught of negative thoughts, and the torturous insomnia. I spent so much of my days really, truly believing that I would never get better. I was so completely lost, and I really didn't think anyone could help bring me back. But I prayed, and I listened to people around me who said I needed help. I also felt some accountability towards my husband and my baby. They needed me to be well. So no matter how hopeless I felt, I knew I still had to keep going. So I did, and I reached out to my OB for help. After multiple calls spanning days and weeks with phone nurses in my OB's office, my OB never called me back directly, never scheduled an appointment to have me come in to assess me, never conveyed via a phone nurse that I was likely suffering from postpartum depression, never gave me any quality referrals or resources to help me. She tried to manage my issues over the phone, but in the end, it just didn't work, and I was on my own again. This is when I realized I had not yet reached the deepest point of my darkness. What I was entering into now was a place where the one provider that I trusted and needed so much wasn't able to help me, and she couldn't even tell me where to go to get help. The darkness swallowed me now. I was sure I would be like this forever, and no child, husband, family member, or friend deserved this. An incapacitated person who could hardly take care of herself, let alone anyone else. But still, my baby, my sweet, sweet baby. I remember laying her across my tired body at every feeding, fighting back to hold back my tears for fear that they would land on her soft cheeks and she would know my secret, that her mom was not well. Sorry, I couldn't let her down. I decided to find a primary care provider and try again. This felt so different. I was able to tell my whole story to a lovely doctor in person. She seemed to hang on my every word. She really, really cared. But because I experienced mostly anxiety-based symptoms, she seemed to have a hard time identifying what was happening to me, and her wavering on what my next steps should be played on my anxiety. And I was convinced again that I was a mom who just couldn't be helped. After one last-ditch effort, I met with a psychiatrist who, again, failed to help me. She told me there was no medication that was safe for me to take for my anxiety while I breastfed, and that I had to decide which was more important to me. This is the point where a lot of women give up, and they do. Let's not forget that suicide is the leading cause of death among postpartum women. But I wasn't giving up on my baby. I scoured the internet and stumbled upon one of the only perinatal psychiatrists in the state, and through her help and the help of a therapist who I also found on my own who specializes in postpartum depression, I was able to find a way out of the darkness. All I needed was one provider to say to me, "You're experiencing postpartum anxiety. It's part of postpartum depression. It happens to so many women, and although you feel like you're the only mom who's struggling, you are far from alone. This is treatable. You can keep breastfeeding and treat your symptoms. I'm here for you, and I really believe you will get better." I am a woman of privilege with every resource at my fingertips, and I still struggle to get the help I needed. We know this system is much, much harder for women to navigate who are marginalized and underserved. We need better care for moms. We need to empower providers to feel comfortable taking initiative with their perinatal patients and feel like they have the tools to do that. This is why I'm so thrilled to support the Periscope Project, and I look forward to its positive impact on moms and families in our community.